You want to talk?
I can't think so that. You might have corrected. Thank you. Correct.
Recording.
Ready?
Just give it to the quickest.
There.
Oh,
I'll just give you the.
Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Krishna devotee. Today we are going to recite Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 30, Text 32. Let's start the invocation prayer. Narayanam namaskrityam Naram chaiva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyatam Tato jayamudhiraye Nashtakayeshu abhadreshu Nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavate ruttama sloke Bhakti bhavati nashtaki कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाग्रे नमो किञ्चन वृत्ताय निवृत्तागुणवृत्तये आत्मा रामाय शान्ताय कैवल्यापतये नमः। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So Canto 4, Chapter 30, Text 32, 4:30, 32. Chapter is entitled The Activities of the Prachetas. So please repeat the words after me. Parijaten jasa labde Parijaten jasa labde Sarangonyana sevate
सारंगोऽन्यन्न सेवते
Tvad angri moolam asa asadhya
त्वदङ्घ्रिमूलमासाद्य
Sakshat kim vrinīmahi
साक्षात् किं वृणीमहि
Parijaten jasa labde
पारिजातेन च सालभ्ये
Sarangonyana sevate
सेवते
Tadangri moolam asadhya
आसाद्य
Sakshat kim vrinīmahi
साक्षात् किं वृणीमहि
Parijaten jasa labde Sarangonyana sevate Tadangri moolam asadhya
त्वदङ्घ्रिमूलमासाद्य
Sakshat kim vrinīmahi
साक्षात् किं वृणीमहि पारिजाते च सालभ्ये सारंगोऽन्यन्न सेवते त्वदङ्घ्रिमूलमासाद्य
Sakshat kim vrinīmahi
पारिजातेन च सालभ्ये
Parijaten jasa labde
सारंगोऽन्यन्न सेवते
Sarangonyana sevate
त्वदङ्घ्रिमूलमासाद्य
Tadangri moolam asadhya
साक्षात् किं वृणीमहि पारिजाते च सालभ्ये पारिजातेन च सालभ्ये सेवते सारंगोऽन्यन्न सेवते मूलमसाद्यते
Tadangri moolam asadhya
किं वृणीमहि
Sakshat kim vrinīmahi. Anyone on Zoom?
पारिजातेन च सालब्धे सारंगोऽन्यन्न सेवते त्वदङ्घ्रिमूलम् आसाद्य साक्षात् किं वृणीमहि
पारिजातेन च सालब्धे सारंगोऽन्यन्न सेवते
Sarangona sevate.
Parangri mulam asadya.
Vadangri mulam asadya.
Shakshat kim vrinimahi.
Sakshat
Vrimahi.
पारिजाते अंशसालब्धे
Parijatam
Parijate
सारंगोऽहं यं न सेवते
Sarangona sevate.
अदङ्घ्रिमूलम् असाध्याम्
Tvadangri Moolam
Vadangri mulam asadya.
साक्षात् किं वृणीमहि
Sakshat
Kim Vrimahi.
Now let's recite word to word translation. Parijate,
पारिजाते
the celestial tree known as Parijata.
the celestial tree known as Parijata
Anajasa,
Anjasa
Anajasa, completely,
completely
Labde,
Labdhe
having achieved,
having achieved
Sarangha,
Sarangha
a bee, Anyat, other,
that
Nasevati,
Nasevate
does not resort to,
does not resort to
Tvadangri, your lotus feet,
lotus feet
Moolam,
Moolam
the root of everything,
the root of everything
Asadya,
Satya
approach,
being approached
Sakshat,
Sakshat
directly,
directly
Kim,
him
what,
Kim
what,
what
Vrinimahi,
Vinimahi
may we ask.
may we ask
Now please repeat the translation. Dear Lord,
dear Lord
when the bee approaches
he approaches
the celestial tree
the celestial tree
of the Parijata,
called the Parijata
it certainly does not leave the tree
it certainly does not leave the tree
because
because
no need for
there is no need for
such action.
such action.
Similarly,
Similarly,
when we have approached your lotus feet
when we have approached your lotus feet
and taken shelter of them,
and taken shelter of them,
what further benediction
the benediction
may we ask of you?
may we ask for.
Now, please hear the purport. When a devotee is actually engaged in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord, his engagement in itself is so perfect that there is no need to ask for further benediction. When a bee approaches the Parijata tree, it gets unlimited supplies of honey. There is no need to go to another tree. If one is fixed in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord, there is unlimited transcendental bliss. And as such, there is no need to ask for further benediction. The Parijata tree is not commonly found within this material world. The Parijata tree is also known as Kalpavriksha, or the wish-fulfilling tree. One can get anything he desires from such a tree. In the material world, one can get oranges from an orange tree or mangoes from a mango tree. But there is no possibility of getting oranges from a mango tree or vice versa. However, one can get whatever he wants from the Parijata tree: oranges, mangoes, bananas, and so on. This tree is found in the spiritual world. Chintamani prakarasha sadmasau kalpa vriksha lakshma vrateshu. The spiritual world Chintamani Dhamma is surrounded by these kalpa vriksha trees. But the Parijata tree is also found in the kingdom of Indra, that is on Indra's heavenly planet. This Parijata tree was brought by Krishna to please Satyabhama, one of his queens, and this tree was implanted in the Dwaraka mansions constructed for the queens. The lotus feet of the Lord are exactly like the Parijata trees, are wish-fulfilling trees. And the devotees are like bumblebees. They are always attracted by the lotus feet of the Lord. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Gurum Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Swamiti Name Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Name Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Seshtarini Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to glorify this beautiful verse and serve Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, serve all of you this morning. So I really humbly seek all of your blessings. I really don't have any qualification to sit here or speak on these verses, but it's just Vaishnava's mercy. So please, I really seek your blessings so I can glorify this verse and serve all of you today. So just the devotees on Zoom, can you hear me clear? Is the voice volume clear?
Yes, it's good. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Just one request to you, Jamuna Mataji, before we start. If possible, if you can able to, today on this verse, we are going to glorify describe the lotus feet of the Lord, Supreme Lord Krishna. So if you can able to share a picture to Mataji, Bhavamai Mataji, who is in a temple, we are using her phone for Zoom. If you can share the picture of Krishna's lotus feet with auspicious symbols, all these marks, auspicious symbols on Krishna's lotus feet, then we can able to, devotees on Zoom can able to connect.
No, I can't actually, Mataji. Sorry, but you carry on with your. I can't throw an image up currently. That I'm not. I'm
You can share.
sorry.
Yeah, if you can, you tell her.
Mataji, you can share from home on the screen.
Somebody's off the light here, light in front of them. That's all right.
Really necessary though.
Yeah.
I'll take the next.
It's like to the.
Also, thank you so much, devotees. So I just read the translation one more time. So, dear Lord, when the bee approaches the celestial tree called the Parijata, it certainly does not leave the tree because there is no need for such action. Similarly, when we have approached your lotus feet and taken shelter of them, what further benediction may we ask of you? So just to get on to the storyline, just to repeat the storyline. So this is Canto 4 and chapter 30, the activities of the Prachetas. So as we all know that Prachetas are the 10 sons of King Prachanda. So by the order of the order, they went to the forest to do the tapasya. Then by the mercy of the Lord Shiva comes to Prachetas and also instruct Rudra Gita to Prachetas. Then Prachetas went inside the water, did the tapasya for 10,000 years under the water. And the Supreme Lord is pleased with the devotion of the Prachetas and comes in front of the Prachetas, gives darshan to Prachetas. And then Supreme Lord, when Prachetas see the Supreme Lord Vishnu, then they started glorifying the Lord with all these beautiful prayers. So in this particular prayer, Prachetas are saying, Dear Lord, when the bee approaches the celestial tree called the Parijata, it certainly does not leave the tree because there is no need for such action. Similarly, we approach your lotus feet and take in shelter of them. What further benediction may we ask of you? Because the Lord asked the Prachetas to ask for a benediction. The Prachetas are saying that when we take shelter of your lotus feet, we don't need to ask, we don't need any other further benediction. Because your lotus feet are just like a kalpavruksha, just like a wish-fulfilling tree. They are like a parijata tree, which can give any benediction to the devotees. And just like here, the devotees are compared to as bees. And just like and the Lord's lotus feet is compared to as parijata tree or a kalpavruksha tree. So when a bee goes to, why does a bee goes to kalpavruksha tree or parijata tree? To suck the nectar from the parijata tree. So bees goes to the trees and suck the nectar. But the bees in the celestial world, they go to parijata tree, they don't need to go to any other trees. Normally in the material world, bees goes to one tree to another tree and suck nectar. Even there's some more nectar left over in the flower, they still go to another tree. Why? Because they need a variety. They need a variety. So to get the nectar from the variety of plants, variety of flowers, they go to different trees. But in the celestial spiritual world, the bees goes to the parijata tree, they don't need any more variety because parijata tree can give all kinds of varieties. As a parijata tree can able to give, as Prabhupada writes in the purple, parijata tree can give mangoes, oranges, any kind of flowers. And Prabhupada even in one lecture says that if you ask for a kachori, parijata tree can give kachori too. So that's a parijata tree, can give anything. It's a wish fulfilling tree. So that's why the bees, when they go to parijata tree, they don't need to go to any other different kinds of trees to get a variety of nectar. So similarly, when we approach the devotee, who is like a bee, who devotees are compared to the bees here, who approaches the lotus feet of the Lord, who takes shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, they don't need any further benediction. Why? Because Lord's lotus feet will fulfill all the desires of the devotees. And Lord's lotus feet can able to bestow all kinds of benediction that Lord's lotus feet can able to. They cut down the millions of years of dust accumulated in our hearts. All that mountains of Sumeru mountains of dust accumulated, Lord's lotus feet, like a thunderbolt on Lord's lotus feet, it can cut down, slash down all those mountains. So today we are going to discuss on because it's particularly this verse is talking entirely about the Lord's lotus feet. And so we are going to discuss on why a devotee approaches Lord's lotus feet. From all the various verses from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, why a devotee approaches Lord's lotus feet, from the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj, prayers of Dhruva Maharaj, and what kinds of benediction, what are the benefits of approaching the Lord's lotus feet. And also when we're talking about the Lord's lotus feet, devotees need to know what particular thing, what particular auspicious symbols or signs we can see on the Lord's lotus feet. So we are going to discuss those things also. And also we are going to end the class with the beautiful prayers of from Gopi Geet, where gopis pray on the Lord's lotus feet, and the prayers of Nagapatnis, how they pray on the Lord's lotus feet. So all these things we are going to discuss. So first let's start with the verse. This verse is from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. If you want to put on your phones, Canto 3, chapter 28, text 21. 3, 28, 21. So this chapter is entitled Kapila's Instructions on Devotional Service. This is Kapila Dev instructing Mother Devahuti. on devotional service. 3:28:21. Sanchintayed Bhagavatas Charanara-vindam Vajrankushadhvaja Lanchanadhyam Uttungarakta-vilasanna Chakravala Josnabhir Ahata Mahad Dharta Yandhakaram. So what is Kapila Devi saying here? The devotee should first concentrate his mind on the Lord's lotus feet. So we need to concentrate our mind on the Lord's lotus feet. So for that, definitely we need to know, when we are meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord, we need to know what symbols we can see, how the lotus feet are glorified by various acharyas, various personalities, and which are adorned. What the Lord's lotus feet are adorned with, Kapila Devi is saying that they are adorned with the marks of thunderbolt, elephant core, a banner, and a lotus. Only. He's briefly saying these things here, but that says the scripture says that Lord's lotus feet has 19 auspicious symbols. There are 11 auspicious symbols on the right foot of the Lord and 8 auspicious symbols on the left foot of the Lord. So we are going to name all those symbols, and we are going to talk also on the what is the importance of those symbols, the significance of those symbols, how it helps the devotees. So Kapila Devi is further saying the splendor of their beautiful ruby nails resembles the orbit of the moon and dispels the thick gloom of one's heart. What is the thick gloom? The ignorance in one's heart. The darkness of ignorance in one's devotee's heart. Whoever takes shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, whoever looks at the toenails of the Lord. That's why it says that whenever we come to take the darshan of the Lord, we need to look at the toenails of the Lord. That's why whenever the pujaris dress the Lord, they make sure they don't cover the Lord's lotus feet or Lord's toenails. Because the brightness that coming out of Lord's toenails, that can dispel the ignorance of the devotee in the devotee's heart, whoever taking shelter of the lotus feet. So this is Kapil Dev Ji saying. So just for the next verse, following verse is 3:28:22. I just read the translation, 3:28:22. The blessed Lord Shiva becomes all more blessed by bearing on his head the holy waters of the Ganges, which has its source in the water that washed the Lord's lotus feet. So where does river Ganges coming from? The lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Because in the form of Vamandev, what is Vamandev? When he is putting his step on the spiritual planets, so spiritual planets, he just breaks that upper planetary system, that covering. Then that's where river Ganges is coming, washing the lotus feet of Lord Vamandev. So that river Ganges, what is washing the lotus feet of Lord Vamandev? Who bears it on their head? Lord Shiva. Shiva means all auspiciousness. How does Lord Shiva become auspicious? By bearing the lotus water, which is washing the Lord's lotus feet on his head. So Lord Shiva is putting Ganges on his head, which is washing Lord's lotus feet. That's why he become Lord Shiva, all auspicious. So Lord's feet act like a thunderbolt, hurled to shatter the mountain of sin stored in the mind of the meditating devotee. So we got so much dirt accumulated in our heart. Why this dirt is accumulated? Because we have been in contact with the material nature. For life after life, so many lives, we've been in contact with the material nature. By the contamination with the material nature, by the contaminated desires in our heart, we accumulated mountains of dust. And this dust, this mountain can be shattered by the thunderbolt on Lord's lotus feet. And one should therefore meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord for a long time. This is very important, the long time. In this particular verse, it says long time. It's not that, okay, devotees say that I've been started chanting for 6 months, nothing is happening. I've been started chanting for like a couple of years now. It's not for some time, it's for a long time. We start meditating on the Lord's lotus feet, start surrendering you to the Lord, lotus feet of the Lord. When you do it for a long time of time, what happens? Then all that dust accumulated, the mountains of sin accumulated in your heart, the devotees, surrendered devotees' heart, that's been slashed by the Lord's thunderbolt. So let's discuss on what are these auspicious symbols on the Lord's lotus feet. So that we know from these verses that devotees should concentrate, meditate on the Lord's lotus feet, so that all our heart, the dust accumulated in our heart is destroyed. And Prahlad Maharaj says that one can become happy in the material world just by doing two things. One is taking shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, surrendering to the lotus feet of the Lord. The next one is, oh, she's enjoying the Bhagavatam. So one is taking shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. The second one is hearing Krishna Katha in the association of the devotees. By doing these two things, Prahlad Maharaj says that one can be happy. So all these scriptures, all these personalities glorifying the Lord's lotus feet. Now let's see what's there on the Lord's lotus feet. If did Mataji share that Lord's lotus feet? Okay. And devotees, if you can put it on your phones, you can just put Lord's lotus feet, then you get with auspicious symbols or signs, then you get the Lord's lotus feet, picture of the Lord's lotus feet. If anyone would like to share it on Zoom also, we are happy for that. So the right foot, I just give it a minute for everyone to check on their phones. Lord's lotus feet with auspicious symbols. If you get Janardhan to forget that, please share it on Zoom. Thank you. So when we are meditating on the Lord's lotus feet, what can we see on the Lord's lotus feet? We see the Lord's lotus feet, the toenails of Lord's lotus feet, and also the redness on the Lord's lotus feet. Normally when you see the deity, that lotus feet is covered with the red painting. Red. Why the Lord's lotus feet is red? It says that redness resembles the Jivatmas. It resembles the Jivatma. And also we see the Tulsi on the lotus feet of the Lord. So we see here in the, we come across the Kumaras, 4 Kumaras. The Kumaras who are the impersonalists, by smelling the lotus, smelling the Tulsi offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, they become the devotees of the Lord. So that is the importance of the meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord. So there are, it says that on the right foot of the Lord, there are 11 auspicious symbols. On the left foot of the Lord, 8 auspicious symbols. Altogether, 19 auspicious symbols are signs on the lotus feet of the Lord. So on the right foot, just under the toe, the first toe, underneath the toe, there's a balikan. If you can get the picture, maybe you can connect easily. So there's a balikan under the right first toe of the Lord. And right next to it, you can see chakra. And there's a chakra. And there's an umbrella. And there's an up-curving line. I just repeat, first one is balikan, chakra, umbrella, up-curving line, and a lotus flower. And there's an unfold flag, just like sitting like that, unfold flag, and an elephant god, and a thunderbolt, the swastika symbol, and there's a jamun fruit, blackberry fruit, jamun fruit, and also an octagon. So these are the 11 symbols on the right foot of the Lord. Did you get that picture, Prabhupada? Okay. Please share it. Please go share it. Good. Thank you. Thank you so much. So these are the 11 symbols on the right foot of the Lord. And to come to the left foot of the Lord, the 8 symbols are conch shell and a concentric circle. There's 2 concentric circles and an unstringed bow. We can see unstringed bow on the left foot of the Lord and a hoof of a calf. We can see the hoof of a calf and a triangle and 4 water pots and a half moon and a fish on the fish on the bottom of the Lord, the heel of the Lord, left foot heel. So these are the 8 symbols on the left foot of the Lord. So altogether 11 plus 8, we got 19 symbols on the Lord's lotus feet. So I just say briefly, because if you narrate so much on these ones, it takes a long time. So I just say briefly, what are these symbols? The significance of these auspicious symbols on the Lord's lotus feet. So let's start with the fish, which is on the left foot heel. Heel of the left foot, we can see the fish. It says that devotees' minds are we all of our minds are just so unstable, just like a fish. If you see a fish, fish will be always moving. Fish cannot stay still in water. So our minds are so unstable, they always wander just like a fish. And so it says that whoever takes shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, the mind of the devotee will, so because this mind of a devotee is resembled by the fish, that is one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is fish cannot stay in a dry place. Fish has to stay in a wet place or where the water is. So it says that the devotee's minds, if the devotee's hearts are just like very hard like a rock, the fish which is on the lotus feet of the Lord cannot stay in our heart. So devotee's heart should be softened. Softened for the deities, softened for the paraphernalia of the Lord, softened for the other devotees. When our hearts become softened for the other devotees, when our hearts are liquefied with that softness for everyone, for all the jivatmas, for the Lord himself, the paraphernalia, then the fish which is on the lotus feet of the Lord can able to reside in our heart. That is, these are 2 aspects of that fish symbol on the Lord's lotus feet. And the next one comes is the half moon. The half moon on the left foot of the Lord. So what is that moon resembles? One is it says that moon resembles the mind of a devotee. The moon resembles the mind of a devotee. So that mind of the devotee can be controlled by this half moon symbol on the Lord's lotus feet when a devotee meditate on the Lord's lotus feet. And also this half moon also gives a cool rays. So the material we sing every day, samsara dava nalali the loka. So this material existence is just like a forest fire, blazing fire. So we all in that blazing fire. How can we get that cool rays? We can get the cool rays when we meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord by this moon, half moon symbol. So the devotee gets a cool rays from this half moon symbol, which can extinguish the material existence or material fire. And then comes the 4 water pots, these kalashas. The kalasha is an auspicious symbol. Whenever we're having a havan, we put a kalasha. When you're housewarming or any good auspicious things you're doing, you bring a kalasha. So kalasha resembles the auspiciousness. And these water pots also resembles that whoever takes the Lord's lotus feet, shelter of Lord's lotus feet, they get the nectar filled in these 4 kalashas. 4 water pots filled with the nectar. A devotee can able to, if we take the shelter of Lord's lotus feet, we can get that nectar from the Lord's lotus feet. And out also, it brings all auspiciousness in the surrendered devotee. And then hoof of a calf. The hoof of a calf actually also refers to so if we take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, because the material ocean, all this material ocean, which is very vast, without taking the shelter of Lord's lotus feet, we cannot cross over this material ocean. We have to take shelter of Lord's lotus feet. The surrendering of the Lord can able to make us easily cross over the material ocean. That material ocean, which is very vast, when a devotee takes shelter of Lord's lotus feet, that becomes so small like a hoof of a calf. So with the devotee who takes shelter of Lord's lotus feet, can able to cross over the material ocean so easily, just like a hoof of a calf. So then unstringed bow, we can see an unstringed bow on the left foot of the Lord. This unstringed bow again shows the protection of the Lord. There's a bow, as when you have a bow, it shows the protection. Lord can able to protect the devotees from all kinds of material distress, all kinds of troubles in the material world. That shows the protection of the Lord unstringed bow. And these concentric circles. These concentric circles which are on the left foot of the Lord, which indicates that Lord is there within and without. Lord is there in everywhere, inside and outside, isn't it? Just like in Prahlad Narayan glory first, Lord Narasimha. You are inside that pillar also, you are outside, you are everywhere. So Lord is everywhere. That is resembled by these concentric circles on the Lord's lotus feet. And the next one comes is the conch shell. This conch is again an auspicious symbol. We see in Bhagavad Gita, before the start of Kurukshetra war, all these famous personalities, Arjuna blows his conch shell, everyone blow their conch shell. So this conch shell symbolizes the victory. Conch shell symbolizes the victory, and it also brings auspiciousness in the lives of the devotees. And it brings a cooling effect to the heart of the devotees, the conch shell. So these are the, in short summary of the significance of the auspicious marks on the left foot of the Lord. Now comes to the right foot of the Lord. How many auspicious symbols we saw? We will discuss 11 symbols. Now let's start with Balikon, which is on the first toe of the Lord's right foot. This Balikon is a grain. Bali is a grain. Normally the barley grain is, it says that easy to cut. Barley grain is not that very strong grain. It can easily to cut the barley grain. So the devotee who takes shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, just like this Balikon resembles that this samsara, this material existence, they can easily cut through. They can easily cut through this material existence, which is resembled by the Balikon symbol on the Lord's lotus feet. And next comes the chakra. This chakra is a weapon Lord uses. So it cuts 6 enemies. What are those 6 enemies? Kama, Krodha, Moha, Lobha, Mada, Matscharya. All these 6 enemies, lust, anger, pride, greed, all these 6 enemies can be able to cut through by the chakra on the Lord's lotus feet. Whoever takes surrender. So look at the benefits of surrendering to the Lord's lotus feet. So that's why it's very, very important to surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord. Just meditate on the Lord's lotus feet. We might not be able to fix our mind on the Lord's lotus feet, but whenever we come to take the darshan of the Lord, or whenever we're chanting, doing our japa, think of the Lord's lotus feet. Think of all these auspicious symbols on the lotus feet of the Lord, and how can able to help the devotee. So these are very, very important. And the next one comes is on the right foot of the Lord is an umbrella. Umbrella again protects from material miseries, because this material living existence is just like a pouring rain. We cannot have this pouring rain. We can get protection from this material existence, which is like a pouring rain, heavy rain, by the umbrella of the Lord's lotus feet. It gives again protection, just like the chakra gives the protection. And next comes is the upcurving line. Yeah, upcoming line, this resembles the lifeline of a devotee. This upcoming line is the lifeline of a devotee. I could not get much on this upcoming line. I was actually doing some research on this line. I could not get much. If anyone at the end would like to add anything, I'm happy to hear from you. So upcoming line. The next one comes is a lotus flower. Lotus flower makes, because this our heart should be like, as we discussed earlier, heart should be softened. Should be softened with a compassion for other devotees, other jivatmas. Then the lotus flower on the Lord's lotus feet, that can able to live on the lake of the mind of a devotee. Lotus flower is beautiful, isn't it? So our mind should become beautiful, become very much soft in our heart. Then this lotus flower can able to reside in our heart. Then the unfold flag again, it resembles the victory of a devotee. What kind of victory we are looking for? Victory on the material existence, victory on the Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi. Victory of all this material existence, that's what gives the Lord's unfold flag on the lotus feet of the Lord. And the next one comes is elephant gods. What is this elephant actually? Elephant is actually, it says that out of all the animals, elephant is one animal which is very hard to be tamed, which is very hard to catch or control. Because we say that it says that elephant is a big animal, very big. And even the king of the animal, like a lion or something, they can, but elephant is the one which is very hard to catch. They say that. When you catch an elephant, our minds are, our lives are just like an elephant, which is uncontrolled. Uncontrolled minds bring trouble to everyone, bring trouble to themselves, bring trouble to people around them. So minds are like uncontrolled elephant. And this uncontrolled elephant, this can be tamed by the God in a person. The person, whoever like to tame that elephant, if they have that God can able to control this elephant. So this devotee's uncontrolled mind can be controlled by the elephant God on the lotus feet of the Lord. So next one comes is thunderbolt. So thunderbolt, just like as we were discussing earlier, our devotees' hearts, our hearts are filled with the mountains of sins accumulated for many births. All these mountains of sins, they can be destroyed. They can be slashed by the thunderbolt on the Lord's lotus feet. And next comes is a swastika symbol. Swastika is again an auspicious symbol that brings auspiciousness in the surrendered devotee of the Lord. And the next comes is a jamun fruit, blackberry fruit we can see on the fourth side of the right foot of the Lord. So it actually, this jamun fruit, it says that it represents the residents of the Jambu Dvipa, because we are all the residents of Jambu Dvipa, but Bharatvarsh we are at. So this jamun fruit resembles that all the Jivatmas, and that can be, we are all there in the Lord's lotus feet. As he says that Lord is there in within and without. So he is there in within and all of us as Paramatma, and he's without there also everything, all the Lord. So, and also the next one comes is octagon. Octagon represents the protection of the Lord from all 8 directions. Lord protects all the surrendered devotees from all 8 directions. So these are the, in short, description of the significance of these auspicious symbols on the right foot and left foot of the Lord. Altogether 19 symbols we discussed, but just one symbol I could not get much information on is on the left foot of the Lord, there's a triangle. Yeah, that triangle I could not get any information. I tried to look for that. I'm really sorry for that. But if anyone would like to give some more information, I really appreciate that. So triangle on the left foot of the Lord, please look for it if you can get some information. So these are the things we discussed. What we discussed so far is what is the significance of taking shelter of the Lord's lotus feet? Because in this verse, what we discussed, devotees compared to a bumblebee, and the Lord's lotus feet are compared to the Parijata tree. So Parijata, just like Parijata, wish fulfilling tree gives anything you ask, the devotee desire for, Lord's lotus feet also, just like a Parijata tree. And we discussed how many benefits. And so we discussed 19 auspicious symbols on the Lord's lotus feet. And what are the benefits of these 19 auspicious symbols we discussed? So what else we need? A devotee need more than this. Lord's lotus feet, they are protection, giving protection, bringing auspiciousness to the devotee's life, and they're cutting through the mountains of sins accumulated from many births. And they're giving protection from all kinds of material distress, material existence. And they're giving all these 6 enemies, their Lord's chakra is protecting. So many benefits we can see. They're protecting from material existence. And they're protecting the devotee to control the untamed mind. And they're giving all auspiciousness in the life of a devotee. So these many benefits. What else the devotee who looks more than this? So this is all Lord's lotus feet is giving this kind of benefit to us. I just want to read more beautiful verse, which says the importance of the Lord's lotus feet. There are so many verses actually, but the time is already 8:30. So I would like to conclude with 2 more beautiful verses. So let's go on to the 10th chapter, 10, 14, 58. 10-14-58. This is Brahmaji's prayers to Lord Krishna. I just read the translation. It says that for those who have accepted the bow of the lotus feet of the Lord. So whoever takes the lotus feet of the Lord, which are like bow, who is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation and is famous as Murari. Lord, who is the shelter of all cosmic manifestation, shelter of all the devotees. The devotee who takes shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, which are like bow. The ocean of the material world is like the water contained in a calf hoof print. As we were discussing, the material existence, the miseries or material world is just like a water contained in a calf hoof print. Otherwise, this material existence, which is very vast, devotee cannot able to cross beyond the material ocean. But once who take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, this whole material existence becomes like a calf's hoof print, so becomes so small. Their goal is Param Padam Vaikuntha, the place where there are no material miseries, not the place where there is danger at every step. In this material existence, there is danger at every step. But that devotee who takes shelter of Lord's lotus feet, they can cross beyond this material ocean just like a calf's hoof print, and they reach the Vaikuntha planet where Param Padam Vaikuntha, where there is no material miseries at all, where there is no anxieties. And let's recite this one more beautiful verse from Gopi Geet, 11:31-7. 11:31-7, where gopis are glorifying the Lord's lotus feet. 10:31-7. 10:31-7. Pranata dehinam papakarshanam tranacharu Nukram Sriniketanam Fanipanapnitam Te Padambujam Rinupu Chesuna Krindihachayam. Translation says, your lotus feet destroy the past sins of all embodied souls who surrendered to them. Those feet follow after the cows in the pastures or the eternal abode of the goddess of fortune. Lord's lotus feet are abode of goddess of fortune. Since you once put those feet on the hooves of the great serpent Kaliya, please place them upon our breasts and tear away the lust in our hearts. So this is the prayer of in the Gopi Geet. Gopis are saying that, so your lotus feet are, because Vrindavan is covered with the dust of the Lord's lotus feet. And the Bhumi Devi, whenever Lord Krishna walks on the Vrindavan, so she never raises those lotus feet. The symbol, the footprints of the Lord always be there. It cannot be raised by anything. Make sure that they will not be raised. Because that's why Akrura, when he goes to Vrindavan, what he get? He first sees the lotus feet of the Lord. He touches that dust, puts the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord on his head. And even like Uddhava says that, what Uddhava says that when he goes to ask the gopis to give the charan dust, dust of their lotus feet, they are not going to give the dust of their lotus feet. But Uddhava says that I want to become a blade of grass in Vrindavan. So where the gopis are going to walk on me, so I can get the dust of the lotus feet of the devotees of the Lord. So this is very, very important point Uddhavji is telling us. So we all are aspired to get the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord, surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord. But how can we surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord? And one more thing here is Kaliya is saying, I actually wanted to share this verse also, but the time is up, so I'm not going to share the Nagapatnis, prayers of Nagapatnis. The Nagapatnis prays to Lord that, Lord, because these are the Kaliya. Kaliya is a serpent. It says that if you have too much lusty desires, if you have too much of the one is too much attached to the money, wealth, they become a serpent in their next life. So my husband, the Kaliya, is so much, because these are the Nagapatnis are saying to the Lord, Kali is so much all these accumulated sins and accumulated of so much contamination. Is it? But why you're so merciful that you put your lotus feet on the head of Kali? Then Lord says that because it's because of the devotion of the Nagapatnis, which makes the Lord to become merciful on Kali. So devotion of the Nagapatnis makes the Kaliya to get that mercy to have Lord's lotus feet on his head, on their head. So what do we need to do actually particularly? Because we all want to take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. But to take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, we need to take the get the dust of lotus feet of devotees of the Lord. So without the dust of lotus feet of devotees of the Lord, we cannot able to meditate on the Lord's lotus feet. So this is an important other verse which says that Naishmati Stavaduru Kramangram Sparshati Anta Anartha Payukma Yadaskara Mahiyasyan Padarajo Abhishekam. Mahiyasya, which chapter Prahlad Maharaj? You know the different Mataji? Exact number?
No.
Okay. So this one Prahlad Maharaj says that when we say that Pada Rajo Abhishekam, we have to say the Pada Rajo Abhishekam. We have to cover ourselves with the dust of the lotus feet of devotee of the Lord. And without that, Naishkinchanana, because these devotees are, they're Naishkinchana, they don't have any particular desire to approach the Lord. And to Navrinita Yavat. So without that, we cannot, without getting the dust of the lotus feet of the devotees of the Lord, we cannot get the access to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So this is the importance of lotus feet of the Lord. Just to summarize quickly, so today we discussed in this particular verse, Prachetas are praying because Prachetas have been asked by the Lord to ask for the boon, ask for the benediction. Prachetas are saying that once we approach your lotus feet, once we surrender to the lotus feet of your lotus feet, we do not need anything because your lotus feet are just like a Kalpavruksha tree, just like a Parijata tree, which gives everything to the devotees. So we discussed what is we discussed with the third chapter with Kapaladev instruction, what the devotees should meditate on the Lord's lotus feet. We discussed on the 19 auspicious symbols on the lotus feet of the Lord, the significance of these 19 symbols and how they will help a devotee, surrender devotee, and also the prayers of the gopis. In Gopi Gita, what they're praying, how we need to take the shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, and also the prayers of Nagapatnis. And also the last very important one is from Prahlad Maharaj is, whoever want to take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, it is very important to take the dust of the lotus feet of the devotee of the Lord. We need to do abhishekam of ourselves, cover completely with the dust of the lotus feet of devotee. That's why if anyone comes into our houses, what do we say? Your Śrīpad has entered our house. Even the whole person is entering the house, we say Śrīpad is entering. So there's a significance of the Lord's lotus feet. Your lotus feet are entering our house, so house is purified. So that is the importance of lotus feet of the Lord, and which is been said very nicely by Uddhava, also saying that importance of the taking the dust of the devotees of the Lord, devotees' lotus feet. So thank you so much, devotees, for giving me the opportunity to glorify this verse of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and serve all of you. Now, please feel free to unmute yourself, add some of your comments. I would like to really hear from all of you. Thank you so much. Anyone from you?
So thank you so much, Mataji. Very nice class. It's a detailed clarification of Lord Krishna.
Thank you so much.
I will hear detailed analysis of various symbols on the Lord's feet of the Lord. You will look at the board explanation on the football line, lifeline, right?
Yes, the lifeline and also the triangle, those two.
Yes, so the football line, the lifeline, several significance of that is that lifeline means it's lifeline. If you meditate upon that, see Lord Krishna as your ultimate refuge, clean unto speed, and you will cross over this material portion of existence. That's lifeline. And also, it's a line, it's a direct line, which we follow the path of bhakti. It's a direct line, takes us to
Wow.
master speed. We don't need to depend upon other, processes.
Oh, very nice.
Um,
So you said two things, isn't it? One is like we can go directly to the Lord by taking that lifetime. And of course, what is the first one you said?
essentially, is
Can we give him a microphone?
Yes, Mataji, we just gave him a microphone. Probably use your microphone.
very, very, very low.
Yeah.
Is it correct?
Yep, yep.
I will just,
Yeah, it works.
I'll just read a little paragraph so you get the thing. That's about searching. So, this marks signifies that the devotees who cling to his feet as if holding a lifeline will be transported to the higher plane. That is
Spiritual.
Indeed, they will not fall. It shows that such devotees need never be doubtful of their upward passage. They cannot be held captive within this small egg-like material universe. It also indicates that the path to speed, being free of external destinations, is very direct. That's not the point I was telling you. Yoga is direct method, so that we don't have to run here and there.
That's great.
Yeah. It also reveals that his feet can reach down to the lowest of fallen souls and deliver those who have taken center of him to the lifeline, bottom and top. So we are here, connection to
Spiritual world.
the highest. That's who
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
What was the other one?
Other one was triangle, Prabhu. Triangle on the left.
Triangle.
On the left.
Left.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
I read the little.
Yeah.
And-
Can I speak?
Mataji, just Ranganath Prabhu is saying something.
Okay, okay. We
Thank
can't hear him. Could
Oh,
you
you-
please repeat what he said? We can't hear. It's too much echo even with the microphone.
Just take the phone. Just take the phone.
I'm able to read this, found a little paragraph. You want to read it? For the chakra,
Okay,
triangle, go this paragraph, this one.
thank you. So Ranganath Prabhuji has kindly did some research for us. This triangle on the lotus feet of the Lord, it says, this mark indicates that the devotees who resort to his feet will be saved from the snares of the threefold modes of nature. Oh, that's beautiful. The threefold modes of material nature, they will get saved. And that his feet are the first and the last refugee for the inhabitants of the three worlds. Amazing. That his feet are the safest sanctuary for the devas, humans, and animals as well. So much significant, the triangle, three lines. One is that it says that it helps the devotee from the threefold material nature, and also from the three worlds, and also three kinds of beings like devas, humans, and animals. That his feet are the sole desired object of the liberated, those desiring liberation, as well as the sense enjoyers. And that his feet should be resorted to by everyone with full concentration of his body, mind, and speech. Yeah, this is very nice. So it also shows that Krishna, the conqueror of the Cupid, is the Lord and husband of all women. It also shows that Krishna is the original source of his three expanded manifestations of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Krishna also bears this mark on his foot to indicate that the three energies, Sri, Bhu, and Nila, are his maidservants. It refers to his stepping over the three worlds, Swarga, Bhumi, and Patala, with one step, Vamandev. Also that his feet remove the three miseries Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika, and Adi Daivik. It further signifies that his feet may be attained by worshippers performing any of the three sadhanas, Bhakti, Jnana, and Vairagya. It denotes that he never goes anywhere other than Vrindavan, Mathura, and Dwaraka. In addition, that whether one is a Sura, godly, Nara, human, or an Asura, demon, he sees everyone equally and bestows the same bhakti. Also, that his feet have attracted the fixed gaze of the three eyes of Shiva. Amazing. So much significance of one triangle. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. So as I was saying earlier, also this few things we discussed on the significance of these auspicious symbols of the Lord's lotus feet, but there's so much depth in depth of into each symbol. As for one triangle, we have seen so much in depth of the things, what is the significance been explained. So that is what is in the all these scriptures are telling us over and over again, all these personalities are telling us. So we need to meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord, which can help us to get lot of all these benefits. Lord lotus feet are compared to as parijata here. Anyone else would like to add anything? Janadipam?
I like the concept of just on the triangle, this particular concept of, I mean, there's so many different meanings, but specifically the one where Krishna is equally affectionate to the demigods, the humans, the asuras, doesn't matter who you are, or whether you're an animal, or whatever living being, whatever material body you happen to have, that Krishna is equally affectionate to all of us, and that bhakti is equally available to everybody. It's not that it's exclusively available to somebody from a particular background or even somebody in a particular background. It's available to everybody. And then I think that that's a good lesson for the devotees to learn as well. That if we see, because we're trying to serve Krishna, we're trying to please Krishna, and so if we also try and see things from Krishna's perspective, then maybe we can understand how to please Krishna better. Because our whole purpose, the number one rule, as Rupa Goswami points out in Nectar of Devotion, which is you accept what's favorable to Krishna consciousness, you reject what's unfavorable, always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Essentially, that rule is our number one rule, which means that if whatever we're trying to do is just so that we can please Krishna, then if we try and understand a little bit, although it may be impossible, if we at least to a little bit, a small degree, try and understand Krishna as a person, we might be able to better understand how to please him. And so as a devotee, then if we say, okay, well, if Krishna is seeing everybody equally, and if Krishna is giving everybody equal opportunity for bhakti, then why should we as devotees be so discriminatory sometimes? Why should we treat anybody else badly? Why should we block some people from experiencing devotional service? We shouldn't. Why should we be so judgmental? We shouldn't. And we can see that in Prabhupada's example, that when he went overseas, after he lands in Boston and he's living in New York, and he was living in the most terrible conditions that any one of us would have been unable to tolerate, living with violent, crazy, drug addicted. I've heard stories. I heard a story that at some point in the early days there was some devotee was even keeping meat in the paraphernalia fridge because they were completely new. They didn't know how to, the person, the devotee was carving Jagannath was smoking a cigarette and putting on Jagannath's hand while he was carving it. And Prabhupada tolerated so much, and Krishna tolerated so much, because if we just try and see from Krishna's perspective that he's just like a loving father to everybody, sometimes your kid's a little bit naughty doesn't mean you don't love them anymore. And so if we can understand that same mood of Krishna and similarly give compassion to all the different people that we meet, then maybe that will also please Krishna, because we know now that that's Krishna's, that's his own predisposition anyway.
Very nicely said, Prabhu. But normally in the temple, what we do is very nice analysis, you said. But the thing is, what we do is, okay, we have to maintain the standards, maintain this for the deities. But we forget that fine line. We forget that kindness. We forget that compassion. So we should always definitely remember that kindness, compassion Prabhupada has showed on everyone. Without the compassion of Srila Prabhupada, we will not be here. So we have to remember that compassion, but at the same time, definitely have to maintain the standard for the deities. But always think of that, what kind of impact you're putting on that other person. If you leave that person with a good impact when we go for book distribution, when we go for any kind of meeting, talking to a new person, if you show that little bit kindness, if you leave that person with that, okay, oh, wow, they're so kind. The devotees are so kind. They're accommodating. So I'm not saying we should compromise with our standards, but at the same time, make sure leaving a good impression on that new person. So that's very important. Thank you, Prabhu.
But it's also very important to remember that, of course, we want to maintain our own standards. And as devotees, we want to be the influence on the non-devotees. We don't want to be influenced by them, but we want to be influenced by senior devotees. But we should remember also that austerity makes the heart hard. And so bhakti is not, the path of bhakti is not supposed to be overly unnecessarily austere, because that can have an impact on our own heart. And if devotees in their practice become more and more and more austere and overemphasize vairagya, it can have an impact on the way that they treat other people. And we've seen this within ISKCON as well. Certain devotees who have become so extreme in their austerity that their dealings with other people became very harsh. And so while we maintain our own standards, we should be very compassionate to other people who may not yet be at that standard.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Mataji?
One interesting point. That Krishna lotus feet have 11 markings on his right, 8 on his left.
Okay, 8 and 11.
Yeah. 11 on her
Left.
and 8 on
Right. Good.
and a lot of these symbols are common.
Common. Yeah. Yes. I come across.
Maharani is one of them. Is
Radha. Yeah.
one day you can glorify that.
Yeah, but when I was reading this, actually, I come across Radha Rani's lotus foot, and I was thinking that a lot of these symbols are common in there. But thank you, Prabhu, for adding them.
Hare
Anyone?
Krishna Mataji, this is Shalendra here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Does the Lord have any other simple symbols across his other parts of the body, say palms or anywhere else? If yes, what are the symbols? If not, why not?
Any other symbols on the palms or anywhere of the body?
Or like
Chest, on chest. Shiva. Curled hair here. So just as Prabhu is saying that we got on the Lord's chest got Srivatsa symbol, which is a curled hair on the chest of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I could think of Prabhu. Prabhu is also saying the same.
that is one. That's it.
On his hands or anywhere palms.
Hare Krishna, Sacimata ji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you very much for such a wonderful class and reminding us about the auspicious signs on the lotus feet of Krishna. So, yeah, there is a verse in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 10:30.25. If somebody wants to know more about the auspicious signs or marks on the lotus feet of Lord, it's a very, the meaning is the gopis said the marks of a flag, lotus, thunderbolt, elephant, goat, barleycorn, and so forth on these footprints clearly distinguish them as belonging to that great soul, the son of Nand Maharaj. So it's a beautiful verse, and there are references from different Puranas about those marks. Another thing, I don't know whether it has been said by some devotee over there because it wasn't clear. But when I looked at the triangle sign on the left foot, I think you have mentioned also, this is actually protection from Maya. So whatever Maya we have, this is the sign of a triangle on the left foot. And the line which you are saying is what I understand and read about, that's called barley corn. And that is the sign of protection. So barley corn is a sign of protection. And it means that Lord actually protects all the opulences which a devotee has got. So that's a protection. So, but I would really request all the devotees on the line or where they are sitting to read this verse from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 10:30-25. Beautiful verse. Thank you very much again. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for adding that. Definitely we'll look into that verse. 10:30-25, Mataji saying more information about the Lord's lotus feet. There's so many verses actually I come across when I was looking for the Lord's lotus feet and auspicious symbols and how it benefits the devotees and the prayers of all these personalities who prayed on the Lord's lotus feet. They're really, really beautiful because whenever we come in front of the Lord, whenever we're chanting, we can think on, meditate on the Lord's lotus feet, our life is successful. We should practice that. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Thank you so much, devotees, for giving me the opportunity to serve all of you today. Serve Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhye
Palam He Vishnu.
Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Your Grace Sacimata ki.
Jai. Jai.
Hare Krishna. Jai. Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Wow.
Thank you.